Yeah, interesting, isn't it? No, yeah, Ipswich, Bradshaw, Norwich, the new fella.
Obviously. Oh God. Woking.
Well, a very good evening to you. Welcome to Grosvenor Vale, the home of Wealdstone Football Club, as the Stones take on Darren Sarle's Woking team here on a Tuesday night special. Both teams were beaten on Saturday at different points of the afternoon. Woking losing out to a 98th minute winner from Ryan Fallowfield of York City at lunchtime, before Stuart Maynard's team were not disgraced up at Chesterfield, eventually losing 3-2. In a game they did lead at the break. The home team tonight have recorded 12 points from their first 11 games, but have only won once in their last 7 outings. Their home form is what's keeping them afloat at the moment, with 10 of those 12 points coming here, 3 wins and a draw from 5 home fixtures. Their opponents tonight are also experiencing a mixed run of form, with, thanks to their injuries, it must be said, a win, a draw and a loss in their last 3, but are unbeaten on the road since the end of August. Darren Sarle and his management team have reached out in the last few hours and acquired the services of Alfie Pavey from local neighbours Farnborough, as well as Thomas Dixon-Peters on loan from Norwich. Pavey leaves the National League South outfit as the league's top scorer with 8 goals in 10 games, something his new club are in desperate need of. It's Wealdstone against Woking, old foes from the past with plenty of familiar names shed about. It promises to be a fascinating encounter. So team news for Woking: 4 changes from Saturday's defeat. No places in the squad for Jermaine Addison or Ricky Corboa, both expected to miss tonight with injuries. In comes Tunji Akinola to the midfield. Places for Timmy Odesina and Greg Taylor in defence, and also Alfie Pavey with a debut. So the Woking team in full. Will Jääskeläinen is in goal. A back 3, we believe, of Scott Cuthbert, Greg Taylor and Timmy Odesina. The 3 in midfield are Jim Kellerman, Tunji Akinola and Zach Bradshaw. Out wide, Dan Moss and Josh Casey. And the duo leading the Woking attack, Alfie Pavey and Padraig Amond. For Wealdstone, 3 changes from the defeat at Chesterfield on Saturday. Places for Mason Barrett in defence, and further forward, Shauna Darkwa is included, as is Abdul Malik. So the Wealdstone team in full. Jed Ward is in goal. A back 3 of Jack Kirk, Mason Barrett and Jaden Mundle-Smith. Fullbacks of Charles Claydon and Carl Smith. Ashley Charles and Sam Bowen will be holding the fort in midfield. Shauna Darkwa, Micah Obiero and Abdul Malik are the leading trio. Woking in their traditional away kit of yellow shirts, navy shorts and navy socks. Wealdstone in their home colours of blue with white shorts, blue and white socks. The whistle has been blown, the game is underway. Good support here from both teams here this evening, as one or two are still scratching to find their seats. Wealdstone has started the game sharply. Claydon, good cross, dealt with by Odesina. The first corner of the game, just seconds into it. As we look, Wealdstone are playing from right to left, Woking left to right, shooting towards their travelling supporters in the first half. There's one more name to include tonight, and it's my co-commentator and summariser for the evening. It's Mr. Ian Nicholson. Ian, a very good evening to you.
Evening, Mark. Evening, everybody. And it's a fast start already. That was a good attack down the hill from Wealdstone. First minute, and the ball comes in. Is that another corner there?
It is.
2 corners in the first minute. There
Absolutely.
Yeah, big game for Woking tonight. For Woking fans, Saturday was a real kick in the teeth. It's never nice to fall to a losing goal in the 8th minute of additional time.
We'll come to that very shortly, as you mentioned, Wealdstone had their second corner of the game. It's not dealt with by Woking. It's a flurry of bodies in the way, and first save for Will Jääskeläinen was relatively simple, as Kellerman, Amond and Pavey all marching forward. It's Kellerman who's furthest forward with Amond. It's a long goal kick from Jääskeläinen, which is not dealt with immediately by Wealdstone. Eventually cleared by Claydon, and then hacked away by Barrett. as Taylor comes across and steals it off Obiero. Woking with the throw. Right over on that far side. It's a very good atmosphere here for a Tuesday night, Ian.
It is. I mean, Wealdstone Woking have had some good games over the years. Of course, there was the semi-final of the Woking's promotion season a few years ago that was a dramatic for Woking, well, for both sets of fans, but particularly memorable for Woking fans because they came away with the win. But no, some good games between Woking and Wealdstone, and also they're two good old non-league names as well, you know, going back years and years and years. So yeah, it's going to be a good contest.
Absolutely.
Very strong press from Woking this for them now, and got this attacking free kick, but really pressing hard.
Every outfield player inside the Wealdstone half. We've played 2 minutes and we've seen plenty of goalmouth action already. It's a very dark evening even with the floodlights on. That's Josh Casey with the free kick. It's a really good ball. Cuthbert's header rebounds, I think, of a Wealdstone head and then eventually claimed by Jed Ward in the Wealdstone goal on loan from Bristol Rovers. It's his 12th start of the season. He's featured in every game so far. Wealdstone currently sitting in 15th position. After 11 games, they've won 3, drawn 3 and lost 5, but those 3 wins have all come here. It's a particularly striking home record. They'd be bottom of the table if it was mapped on away form, as Odesina is wrestling Abdul Malik in the centre of the pitch. It might have been a darker actually, as it's hoisted clear by Casey straight through to Ward. Woking themselves have shown plenty of good form on the road this season, most in particular in the northeast.
Well, yeah, the wins at Gateshead and Hartlepool particularly memorable. Great days, and it's been a mixed bag really.
Claydon, low ball just beyond Obiero, who was arriving just a little bit too late, and eventually cleared by Woking's captain Josh Casey. Ammon chasing. Smith will mess up the drop ball. Woking have a throw in.
It's interesting there, Wealdstone getting behind the right back in a back five, so obviously the wide defenders are going to be pushing forward, which will leave gaps behind, which the defenders will need to cover.
Looks as though Odesina is playing in the centre of that Woking 3. Greg Taylor out to the left and Scott Cuthbert to the right. Here's Jim Kellerman now, 30 yards out, low drive, rebounds off Jack Cook's back. Was former Woking player in the lineup. Cuthbert with a cushion header to Akinola. Lofts it forward looking for Pavey. Flag eventually does go up. Alfie Pavey wearing number 29, signed today after scoring 8 goals in 10 games for Farnborough in the National League South. Which the Woking Twitter account tweeted, "We've got our man," and they certainly do. They need some goals, Ian, don't they?
They do, and I think it's been a week or two coming. There've been rumours on all sorts of negotiations and so on. This is breathless pace, isn't it?
It really is.
Ways.
It's a high tempo already. Abdul Malik square to Bowen, out wide to Lewis, 19-year-old on loan from Millwall, certainly looks 19. Abdul Malik 25 yards out looking for Obiero, cut out by Casey, who's been busy in the opening 5 minutes.
Ooh.
Kellerman back to Taylor. Now finding Ammond, who's pulled out to the Woking left. Kellerman now coming forward, but only has Alfie Pavey in support. Kellerman wants to go himself, cut out by Cook. Rebounds off the referee, actually, and hard to know who was actually in possession there, is it?
Yeah, who's that going to go to?
I thought Woking, but I'm not too sure, actually. But he played a very quick drop ball, did the referee. Yeah. Sort of caught everyone off guard. Long searching ball for Darkwa. And Cuthbert is there. Darkwa did very well indeed. It's a very tall presence up front, Sean Adaka.
Yeah, and a lot of pace as well.
Couple of goals so far this season. Casey's done well again to dispossess Carl Smith, and Woking coming forward in numbers. Ammond out to the left and Pavey to the right. Here is the Irishman to the Woking left. Left footed cross looking for Pavey, who's arriving. Cleared away by Mundell Smith. And Ammond will see it out for a throw. It's interesting to see how these two will line up today.
Yeah, that was a good ball in. Great interception by Casey. Moving forward, putting Porrick Ammond, and then the ball over, heading towards Pavey, but well defended by Wealdstone, who kept their shape well.
Alfie Pavey, who's signed from Farnborough. He's virtually played National League all his life. He was with Aldershot back in 2016. He's 6'1", turns 28 next week. Cut out by Cook. Nodded down by Taylor. Akinola lets one fly from range. It was always going wide, and Jed Ward was happy to see that one past the post. Goal kick given.
Bouncer, nice height there for Akinola. Just one of those, you know, you always love to have a volley coming down, and but didn't really get it on target. But a lot of power, but not on target.
Straight down the middle of the pitch from Ward. Odesina with the winning header. Set by Charles. Wealdstone regular over the years, still with Charles. Feeds it onto Obiero. Obiero back to Charles. Bradshaw is chasing. Here's Smith cutting infield now. Kyle Smith, the youngster, around Bradshaw, and then Casey wins the throw right over on that far side. Great
defence there by Josh Casey, and Wealdstone really running at the defenders with the ball at feet, and they've got 2 or 3 there, and they've all got pace. But Woking so far have defended well.
Wealdstone throw. Still managed by Stuart Maynard, who signed a new contract extension in the summer. We'll come to that in just a moment, as Woking haven't dealt with this. Odesina sticks a leg out, and the last touch seemingly came off the Wealdstone man. I don't think it did. Goal kick given though. Jaskalainen quickly fires it up the pitch to Ammond. It's a wonderful touch to take it into his stride. Challenged by Bennett, who does get there. The keeper wasn't required, and fired out of the stadium for a Woking throw. It's been a very, very busy first 8 minutes, Ian.
Jaskalainen, as soon as he got the ball, boom, long ball. Porrick Ammond on the end of it, controlled it beautifully. Didn't really have the pace to get away, and it was well defended, but a throw here by, I think it looks like Casey. We are, just to say that, you know, we are a long way away from where they are, and the lights aren't.
The lighting isn't helping,
best,
is it? No. I think we're just banging out the Woking players. It might be a struggle with some of the Wealdstone players, but we'll do our very best. And Casey is some 60 yards away from where we're sat. Ammond onto Casey. Wants a penalty. Claims are waved away from the referee. Too strong for a Darkwa. And Cuthbert strokes it back to Jaskalainen, who's fought off one goalkeeper in the shape of Joe Day. Alexis Andre Jr., the TikTok sensation, is on the Woking bench. Was pretty much picking the ball out of the back of the net during the warm-up, courtesy of Alfie Pavey's introduction as a Woking player. Be interested to see what he can offer. 8 goals in 10 for Farnborough, 75 goals in 268 senior career appearances, but you'll see the headlines written about him at youth level, particularly at Maidstone. Scored quite literally hundreds of goals. But I guess the one worry with Alfie Pavey is his form at this level. 21 goals in 113 appearances, 9 seasons, 7 clubs. It's something that he knows personally he needs to improve upon.
Yes, I mean, the hope will be he's obviously got an eye for goals, scores for fun, he is a goal scorer, but it is whether moving up a level, whether he can make that count, and obviously Woking hoping that it will, and he will.
Claydon dispossessed by Akinola. Kellerman on the turn, but beaten to it by Childs. Here's Jack Cook in the heart of the Wealdstone defence, and it's definitely an over-ambitious ball for Adakwa. The game has just calmed down in the last 60 seconds. There was no way that either team could keep that up to half-time. I think Woking and indeed Darren Sarr will want to sort of hush the home team and indeed the support and sort of grab a hold of possession.
Yeah, although Wealdstone have had a dodgy few games, their home form, as we were saying, has been really, really good. You know, it's quite a slope, which takes some getting used to. It's a slope down and across.
Notable when you sit at pitch level, isn't it?
Yeah. And I don't know whether it's psychological, but going down the slope always feels so much. It's a bit like bowling down the slope in cricket. You know, it feels much easier. Touch by Barrett was good enough, but it's being man-marshalled by Jim Kellerman. Back to Jed Ward, who was scouted for his parent club Bristol Rovers at his local chess club at the age of 8.
Only made a couple of appearances for Bristol Rovers. He's only 20 years of age, very, very young in the career of a goalkeeper. His opposite number isn't too old either. Jed Ward, oh, missed touch. Just manages to keep it in play. And in the end does pretty well. Wealdstone again challenged by Adakwa, hoisted up in the air by Bradshaw, and a good defensive header from Jack Cook, who wants it immediately set from his goalkeeper Jed Ward, and gets it. Jack Cook.
Excellent player for Woking for several seasons, and lovely guy.
Yeah, wasn't he just? Strong challenge from Wealdstone on Charles, who's remained on the ground. Cuthbert, meanwhile, continues to shield the ball out of play, looking for a throw, which hasn't gone his way. Charles is still down, and I think he felt the full force of Timmy Wealdstone then.
I think he did, and that was, you know, there's nothing in it other than two players coming together, both catching the ball. A full-blooded attack, and he's just, you hope he's okay down there.
Face to the ground, the physio is on, so a short break in play. Woking on Saturday losing their 6-game unbeaten streak. Goals from Lennon, John Lewis and Ryan Fallowfield actually prolonged Woking's winless run against the Minster men to no less than 15 years. It's a game of missed opportunities and missing players, and Woking continue to be without a number of first-team regulars. It's now the 3rd game in a row that they've not managed to field a full bench, and they're missing 4 former Wealdstone players in their own squad. No Reece Brown, Charlie Wakefield, Denon Lewis and Sam Habigam all out tonight. No Reece, Gregor Cox, Nana Boateng, Manny Oyeleki, Rowan Ince. I mean, the list just keeps going on, Ian, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we were talking about it earlier, and I think Darren Sall said Ince isn't too far away. Hopefully Gregor Cox isn't too far away. Having signed Pavey and Dixon Peters, I think that does lift the
takes the pressure off, doesn't it? Yeah.
Because the feeling was, well, if any of Corboa or Hammond get injured, it leaves Woking with really nothing up front.
Absolutely.
And Corboa looks like, looks from this as maybe he did get injured on Saturday, picked up something. So crucial to sign these two players to just lift the pressure off the injury list up front.
Yeah, goal scoring has been the problem, hasn't it? They've not been converting their chances. They are the lowest scorers in the top 9. They're only 4 goals fewer than they were after 11 games last season, but I think it's just the chances that they've squandered, particularly from winning positions, that they've not gone on to collect all 3 points. Of course, on Saturday, Corboa hammering the crossbar was an eye-catching chance, wasn't it?
It was, and that was a lovely shot in, and it was probably one of the few moments in the game he got just a little bit of space and was able to set himself quite a way out, but curled it beautifully. And Charles is up, but he is walking quite gingerly and limping. There was no play acting there. That was definitely that definitely hurt him.
Well, I mentioned Woking's form on the road. They do have as many points as at home as they do away from the LCS. Hardly seem to better effect when on their travels. 8 points at home, 8 points away, and they're defending here once again. Casey rising to the header. Edge of the box is James! And Bowen puts it in. Sam Bowen scores on loan from Newport County. And the Welshman fires the home team into the lead. Ball was not cleared by Woking, and it fell to Sam Bowen on the edge of the box. And he tucked it past Will Jaskalainen. Wealdstone 1, Woking 0.
Yeah, the ball bobbling around there in the area. No defender could really, it didn't fall right for any defender to get a really powerful header clear. So it was tending to go bobble around from head to head. And I think Casey was the last one to head it, and then it just couldn't get clear. Fell to Bowen, and he turned sharply and hit it into the corner. And Woking now needing to come from behind.
It's his 2nd goal of the season there without their top goal scorer, Tabon Camel, the former Woking striker, of course. That goal for Sam Bowen actually makes him Wealdstone's joint second top goal scorer. Tucked it away beautifully, but Woking will be disappointed in the way they handled that set piece. It was a long hold from the injury to Ashley Charles. And they just fell asleep. Casey from a corner kick at the other end, Cuthbert's header. Smith will tidy up as Kellerman will chase, and Kellerman will just outmuscle the youngster. But they've got to do it the hard way again, Ian.
Again, yeah. I think Wealdstone went ahead on Saturday against Chesterfield and
they did
getting pegged back. So, and I know a number of their first choice defenders are out. So that gives hope to Woking. If they can really put pressure on, they might well end up with a chance here.
Bradshaw into the penalty area. Last touch came off a Wealdstone defender. Woking have proved themselves to be very defensively astute. 12 goals conceded this season. It's the 4th best in the league, and they actually have conceded the fewest amount of goals on the road all season, but they're behind here at Grosvenor Vale. Wealdstone 1, Woking 0. Corner kick to Woking though, looking to react quickly. I think that's Josh Casey, the captain's armband, taking this corner kick. Akinola and Moss have stayed back. It's whipped towards the far post beyond Bradshaw and Ammond, although the latter will go and chase, but the goal scorer Bowen will beat him to it. Touch from Kellerman. Launches it back to Jaskalainen, who was pretty helpless in the goal. Had a wall of players in front of him, possibly his view slightly obstructed. And he's fired another long ball forward, looking for Kellerman. The touch was poor, and it's out for a Wealdstone goal kick.
Yeah, obviously the Woking tactic first 20 minutes of this game has been this the long ball forward, the quick long ball forward with Kellerman, Ammond and Pavey running at pace to get on the end of it. Just overhit there for Kellerman.
Adarqua's beaten Odesina too. Adarqua is all on his own, surrounded by yellow shirts, looking for Obiero. Casey back to Jaskalainen. Jaskalainen will just get there, but will have to project it out for a Wealdstone throw-in. Just on differing wavelengths there, the Woking captain and goalkeeper, but they got away with it.
Yeah, Odesina there really committing, and to do that you really need to be sure you're going to get it, and he didn't get it, which left a bit of space.
Hammond chests it down as Alfie Pavey in support, but Claydon's worked ever so hard to win that back. Pavey's not had too many touches so far. His first start in a Woking jersey, number 29 on his back, as Taylor's asking Jaskalainen to collect this, and indeed the Finnish goalkeeper does. Wealdstone 1, Woking 0, 19 minutes played here. Headed away by Barrett. Woking throw. Wealdstone, who have been in pretty good form here this season. It's what's keeping them afloat, as I mentioned in my preview. 10 of their 12 points have come here. 3 wins, a draw and just a 1 defeat. Here's Akinola, just sort of pulled out of the challenge and swept up by Bowen. Looking for Obiero, who keeps it the right side of the line, chased by Casey. Back to Smith, on to Barrett. And safely back to Ward. Ammond will hunt him down. But a clip clearance from the goalkeeper. Odesina and Adarqua are sort of pulling each other's shirts. It's a wayward ball from Ammond. Back to Bradshaw, but Casey's there to sweep up. Gives it straight to Smith though. Bowen. Back to the Wealdstone captain, that is Jack Cook. Looking for a long searching ball, instead goes direct to Abdul Malik. Abdul Malik cutting in on Cuthbert now, has beaten him for pace, and the support over on that right side with Kyle Smith. Here he is, Kyle Smith up against Josh Casey. Abdul Malik in support, Obiero in the box with Charles. Smith towards the back post beyond Adarqua, and again has to be put out of play for a corner, courtesy of the head of Scott Cuthbert. It's the home team that are in the ascendancy at the minute, Ian.
Yeah, and Abdul Malik there, we've done it a few times, breaking from midfield at pace and went beyond Scott Cuthbert and then played it out wide. Ball in, it was Cuthbert though back to deal with it and head the ball out for a corner, but interesting. I mean, Wealdstone do, they're not the biggest up front, but they do have pace.
Charles has come short. I have absolutely no idea who's taking this corner kick, because there's a flurry of people in the way. I think it was Lewis. On the edge of the box is Bowen again, wrapping his foot around the ball and just got a little bit too much loft on it. The Woking defenders just watched him place his shot there.
Yeah.
And we're happy to see that one go out for a goal kick. Yellow card being given meanwhile to, I think, Mason Barrett. Indeed it is. Not really too sure what for. I think they wanted the corner, but it was clear as day that
well, it's
there
clearly
was no
not
touch
a
on
corner. No, it's clearly not a corner, so it's a needless yellow card then, if that was the reason.
Yeah, I can't see any other reason for it. Jääskeläinen headed on by Pavey. And he's had very few touches, hasn't he, the new man?
He did quite well there. That was a flick on. Got his head to it, but yeah, hasn't seen much of the ball. Oh, good run there.
Lovely touch from Charles, but Odesina was equal to it. Smith will take this throw. It's been busy up and down that right flank for Wealdstone. Plenty of pace. Barrett. Back to Smith. Charles. Happy to see it out for another Wealdstone throw. Back to Cook. And to Ward. Yes, welcome to Grosvenor Vale, Connor. We're halfway through the first half now. It's Wealdstone 1, Woking 0. So the Cards are going to have to do it the hard way once again. They've fallen behind after 15 minutes, courtesy of a goal from Sam Bowen, who hit it from about 20 yards out, but it was scrappy. Woking defending prior to the strike. Nothing wrong about the shot. I think Will Jääskeläinen in the Woking goal, possibly unsighted. It went through a full sea of players, if you like, and tucked it away stylishly into the corner. It's been a frenetic start from both teams. It's cooled down a little bit now, and Wealdstone have the advantage. They lead by a goal to nil. Smith with the throw. Gets it back. It's a wonderful ball into the box, which Jääskeläinen will surely get two hands to, and does. Already looking for Ammond and Pavey at the other end. Doesn't seem the longest pitch here at Grosvenor Vale. Ian's already mentioned the slope, but from top to bottom, doesn't appear to stretch out that far, particularly when Jääskeläinen's basically sending it to the other goalkeeper.
Yeah, Hammond was sprinting after it, but it was overhit really and going straight through to Ward.
Odesina's header to Dan Moss. Obiero just dropped the shoulder on him there. Bradshaw's fed it back to Jääskeläinen. Again, simply puts his foot through the ball. Header by Ammond was strong and accurate. Bradshaw looking for Kellerman. Flag has stayed down momentarily. Kellerman, first time ball. Oh. Too easy for Ward.
Yeah.
Fizzes out by Ward, but Taylor was there. He's found a lovely ball to Zach Bradshaw. Opens up his body, but it's too strong for Ammond and Kellerman, and possibly again that pitch element, that it's not the biggest of pitches. Lots of Woking players overhitting the ball at the minute.
Yeah,
just basic.
Yeah, I mean Kellerman there just sighed and put his hands on his knees really.
Pavey picks up the loose ball. Time to turn and feeds it on to Casey. Casey keeps it in play, but tackled strongly by Smith. Bradshaw's gone short and picks up possession now. Halfway inside the Wealdstone half, and again can't find Kellerman or Casey. And it's rolled out for a Wealdstone goal kick. Plenty of unforced errors in the Woking build-up play for the moment.
All looks a bit disjointed, doesn't it, at the moment? I think obviously you've got Alfie Pavey who's getting used to the players and used to the system.
Good header from Odesina, who won that personal battle that time with Adarkwa. Cuthbert to Dan Moss. Doesn't really have anything forward. Ammond is coming across now. Mundell Smith has fumbled it. Stolen off him by Akinola, but Charles was there in support. And Cook will get it clear. Again in a very good area, but Cuthbert is strong enough to not only keep the ball in, but keep possession. Odesina back to Jääskeläinen. Obiero applying the pressure. Casey's a long way forward. As eventually Barrett gives it back to Ward. It's another first time clearance from the Wealdstone goalkeeper. Kellerman. Abdul Malik on the halfway line, but poked forward from Bradshaw. Wants it again, the Ipswich loanee.
Oh.
Akinola was sleeping. Stolen off him by Bowen. Abdul Malik now pulling out to the Wealdstone left. Beyond Zach Bradshaw has Scott Cuthbert for company as well. Up against two yellow shirts, looking for Bowen, but Moss is there to backtrack, and Bradshaw clears. Brought down with his thigh by Jim Kellerman, wrestling and tugging away with Mundell Smith. Ammons kept it in play now, looking for Alfie Pavey. Lovely control with the chest. This is better build-up play from the visiting team. Kellerman feeds it on to Greg Taylor, who's trotting forward now. Kellerman in support, and here he is. Former Chesterfield midfielder, infield to Akinola. Back to Taylor. Woking happy to buy their time in possession. Woking's number 5 goes direct, looking for Ammond. Sorted out by Charles. Cook's first time clearance is a thud. Now to play for a Woking throw.
Yeah, bit of play there by Woking, but then Taylor's ball in went straight to a Wealdstone defender and broke the attack. But playing it to feet and trying to find those spaces in that moment of genius.
And onside here is Ammond. Ammond all on his own. Straight at the goalkeeper. Probably the closest Woking have come in.
Yeah, and he was put through well, but very wide and quite a tight angle, but there was no one in the middle of the box, so he took his chance to fire it in, but easily parried there by Ward, who now takes the kick.
Looking for a Darkwa again. Brilliant control. It was just, he was completely outnumbered in the end as Pavey gives game chase to this ball. Claydon back to Mundell Smith and on to Jack Cook. Nowhere near a blue shirt, but in a tricky area once again, meaning Cuthbert has to get there first. Back to Jaskalainen, who had time to clear, straight to a Darkwa, and Odysseina's back. Was he pulled to the ground? No, says the referee, and eventually he will give the goal kick. Jaskalainen had so much time. Has the referee changed his decision? I think he has. Yes, he's given a corner kick now. He originally gave a goal kick.
He did. He did. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't give a foul actually to Woking, because it did look like, was it Akinola or just Odysseina was pulled down?
Odysseina it was.
Yeah.
Jaskalainen had so much time to clear. Referee happy for the game to continue. They've reached the half-an-hour mark. Charles comes short, so too does Abdul Malik. Smith with the corner, again towards the front post, dealt with by Josh Casey, straight to the feet of Ashley Charles. Abdul Malik now, cutting infield, low drive, side netting. 1 or 2 in the stadium. What a thought that had crept in at the near post. It was always the wrong side of the post.
We were right behind it, was the wrong side. I like Abdul Malik, he's one of these very low centre of gravity, a lot of pace, twists and turns, powerful.
It's the second of 2 Millwall loanees in the Wealdstone team. Yet to open his Wealdstone account, but has a fine record for his parent club, Millwall, in the under-21 setup. 18 goals in 20 appearances. Here's Dan Moss at the other end. Looks as though it struck the arm of Charles, but play continues. Akinola on the edge of the Wealdstone penalty area, feeds it on to Bradshaw. Lovely ball back to Dan Moss, who's in a bit of space. Low cross, deflects off Charles for a Woking corner. It's the furthest the visiting team have been forward in the last few minutes.
Lovely ball there from Bradshaw, and good work by Moss and Akinola. Getting it to Bradshaw, played it out wide. Moss went to the corner, well blocked by Wealdstone, going out for the corner.
Which Josh Casey will take. Third of the night. Right hand in the air. Odysseina's come short. Casey ignores him. Ball right towards the back post, which was aimed at Bradshaw. And the dark was done really well. Sees the ball into touch. Of course, full card in the National League this evening. We'll go through some scores up and down the grounds in just a few moments. Long throw as well. Acrobatically cleared by Childs. Ammond, Casey, lovely touch. Excellent ball in as well. Scissor kick cleared by Jack Cook. Odesina wins another header on a Darkwa. Woking are just starting to establish a little bit of control with the ball. There's no end product at the minute. It's been the story or the headline of the last few weeks. Had the majority of possession, but no final end product. Even with a new striker on the pitch, hasn't really had a sniff yet, Alfie Pavey, but he only needs one chance. Kellerman, it's loose to Casey.
Yeah, that was poor there. Throw to Kellerman, and he really kicked it straight back into touch. And it's those sorts of things that are disheartening, really, for any team and any player as well. You know, you
loose and careless, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and it happens, but you feel as though you're building momentum, and then you're back on the back foot again.
Alfie Pavey wins the header, but it's not near Ammond or Moss, straight through to Ward. We'll go through the scores in the National League with goals in. Lots of 1-1s. AFC Fylde 1, Boreham Wood 1. Bromley have literally just taken the lead against Eastleigh. Hartlepool 0, Solihull Moors 1. Kidderminster 0, Oldham 1. Oxford City 0, Gateshead 1. And it's 1-1 apiece between York City and Barnet. And probably the game of the evening, which was a late kickoff, Rochdale Chesterfield. One or two fascinating clashes in the league. Bromley Eastleigh looks a good game. Hartlepool Solihull, another eye-catching fixture on the card. The game we're concentrating on sees the home team in front. Ooh. Casey straight to Kellerman. Kellerman left-footed strike. Top save from Jed Ward to keep him out. He was on his weaker side, Kellerman, but he hit it with venom and power. And Jed Ward, the Wealdstone goalkeeper, was called into action. Good chance, Ian.
Yeah, he's got a great shot on him, Jim Kellerman, and it fell to him. He was in space, had time to set himself, fired it in, and well saved by the keeper. But it looked like it was on target there, and good moment there for Woking, but still no breakthrough.
Fourth corner of the game. Casey in charge of it again. Two hands in the air. What support has he got? Goes direct. It's right underneath the goalkeeper. Up rises Pavey and Cuthbert. Last touch came off one of those two named, as it's a Wealdstone goal kick. We've got just over 10 minutes to go until half time. Wealdstone 1, Woking 0. Woking have only scored 4 goals in the first half of games this season, and good stat for them as the other 11, of course, have come in the second half. Up rises Odesina for another winning header. He's winning the battle over a Darkwa for the moment. Casey wants the throw in and will get it. Right in front of Darren Sarle's technical area. Ian Dyer celebrating his 40th birthday here today. Nodded back in field towards Ammond. Casey stutters the first cross. Safely back to Bradshaw. First time ball is low. It will reach Akinola. Back to Bradshaw. Clipping it forward to Casey. Is that ball too strong? It is. That'll be another Wealdstone goal kick.
Yeah, it feels really, I mean, Woking are plugging away, but with little end product. I mean, we had the Kellerman shot just now, but it's struggling really to see, certainly in this half, you know, where the breakthrough will come.
Casey back to Taylor. That's one fly, and we'll certainly need a new ball there. It's bounced over a piece of shipment into the car park. Wealdstone taking all the time they need just to take the sting out of the game as we approach half time. Referee asking the Wealdstone central defender to speed things up. Of course, we've seen time wasting as a common topic in the last few weeks, in all leagues that is. It's a wonderful ball from Odesina to find Ammond, picked up by Pavey but left for Kellerman instead. Ammond's in all sorts of room, but Kellerman wants to go himself and just pulls the shot wide. That time on his stronger right foot, but arguably his better effort came with his weaker side.
Well, not arguably, definitely. I think Jim Kellerman there scuffed it really and wasn't on target. But whereas the previous shot was a fine strike, and he slaps his hands together in frustration.
It's been the theme of the first half. Woking players huffing and puffing, and I'm sure the fans behind the goal will be feeling the same. Not been in their best shape the last few weeks, have they? As a Darkwell looks to steamroll through the Woking defence, cut out by Odesina, and that's a bit loose from Smith. Let the ball roll underneath his boot.
That's sloppy, and again, just as it was for Woking previously, it just deflates the team really, building well, and then just miss the ball and it goes out for a throw. Woking back with the ball.
Taylor, right for the clearance, looking for Pavey. Just to keep it in, shaking off the challenge of Jack Cook. That's good play from Pavey. Now with Casey, back to Taylor, who's almost playing as a left back this evening. It's a left-footed cross with plenty of height. Ammond cushion header looking for Alfie Pavey. It's fallen to Zach Bradshaw 30 yards out from goal. Now finding Casey on the Woking left. Outside of the boot to Kellerman. Kellerman losing out there to Smith, who got back, and will be another goal kick.
You have to say, I think Woking are struggling here, partly with the absence of wide men. I mean, obviously playing a 3-5-2, you get the wing backs who can push forward, and Moss and Casey have done that a little bit, but there's no real player on the wing who can hold the ball, be the out ball, and then look to make something happen. And it's quite narrow from Woking, with mainly Kellerman and Ammond really are the wide men.
And they're not, they're not used to playing out wide, are they? Particularly Jim Kellerman.
No.
You're missing Lewis, you're missing Wakefield, you're missing Corboa, who can offer the width, and a number of others. No Boateng either.
Yeah, I mean, it was only a few weeks ago you'd think, oh, there's too many wide players, how are they all going to fit in? And now they're nearly all, for one reason or another, injured, and some very unfortunate. Also, I have to say, missing Rowan Ince in midfield is such a solid, strong presence.
He's been a top player for Woking, hasn't he, the last few seasons?
Oh, yeah.
Top player. It's almost been a signing of the season when he re-signs, if you like. Amazing that he doesn't pick up much interest from League One or League Two, or firm interest for clubs to fire in bids and things. Of course, he's part of the Brighton team that got them to the Premier League all those years ago. How well are they doing now? Akinola clearance, too strong for Pavey. Taking time to adjust or readjust to the top tier of non-league football.
Yeah, I'm not even sure that he's trained with the team yet. I mean, I think things were done today, so it really is his first opportunity.
Tell how desperate Woking are. He's gone straight into the team. Cuthbert's cut that out. Has options forward with Ammond and Moss, and here is the latter. Dan Moss, left-footed ball, looking for Pavey. It's a strong header.
Oh,
and that's certainly what he's capable of. Wonderful header, just wide.
Class header that. Lovely ball in, rose above the defender, great contact, and just wide of the post. So disappointing from a Woking perspective, but first glimpse really there of
Akinola and Moss left it to each other, picked up by Claydon. Beautiful triangle football as well from the home team. Odesina. Legal challenge on a dark horse, as the referee, as Ammon looks to locate Kellerman. Sort of playing as a false nine at the minute, Jim Kellerman. He's the furthest man forward for Woking. I wonder if there'll be a change of formation at half time, because it is a back three for Woking at the moment. I think Wealdstone are finding too much room in wide areas. Foul against Pavey, I think it was. 5 minutes to go until half time. The home team still lead by a 1-0. Sam Bowen's goal, the difference after 15 minutes. But Woking with good opportunities to equalise through Alfie Pavey and Jim Kellerman's effort not too long ago. They have shown they've been a second half team this season. They've got the stats to support that as well. Taylor. Lofted forward looking for Ammond, beaten in the air again by Cook, and neither player knows where the ball's landed. Akinola does. Chested down by Pavey. He's growing into the game minute by minute, and here he is again on the stretch. Pavey eventually loses out to Charles though. Abdul Malik beyond Cuthbert. Abdul Malik now boltering forward. Abdul Malik surrounded by yellow shirts, still has possession inside the Woking box, eventually dealt with by Bradshaw. Claydon now right-footed effort. Did come off a Woking defender. Abdul Malik showing his pace once again, causing all sorts of problems in the Woking defence.
He's live wire, isn't he? But he, from Woking's credit, they had 2 men on him, muscled him off the ball, and but then it fell clear, but the shot was way over. Although, it was, as we know, it's a corner, so obviously caught a Woking player on the way through.
To be taken by Charles Claydon, the left back. He was actually with Wealdstone back in the 2021-2022 season. Scored once in 18 appearances. Is on corner kick duty, which is fed right under the throat of Will Jaskalainen. Woking wanted to play the ball quickly, but Jaskalainen wanted to slow it down. Feeds it on to Taylor. Claydon actually with 3 goals in 8 appearances last term. He's got a decent record from wing back, but he's got his defensive cap on now. Moss whips the ball to the back post beyond Pavey, and Casey can't keep it the right side of the line. Goal kick once more.
Yeah, a lot of Woking's tactic during this game has been the long ball. If they win it, fine. If they don't, then picking up the second ball, which is what they did there, and then the ball eventually coming to Moss, but his cross was over here.
Lovely play from Abdul Malik again. Searching ball to Obiero, up against Taylor, wants to get it back onto his right. Obiero flicks it out to Adarkwa, feeds it onto the goal scorer Bowen, who shaped for the shot, then pulled it out wide to Smith. Smith now backtracking back to Bowen. Obiero to Smith. Lovely play. Obiero again, shaping for the shot. Was he caught? Wasn't too many claims for a penalty.
Their build-up play has been great, Wealdstone at times, but they haven't really got into the point of actually taking, you think, oh, pull the trigger, and they haven't done that very often.
Ammond looking to get the wrong side of Mundell, Smith and Cook. Picked up by Kellerman on the edge of the box. Wasn't the best of touches into the penalty area, and that probably did his chances of an equaliser. Put it away by the Wealdstone goalkeeper. Adarkwa losing out again to Odesina. Tidied up by Cuthbert. Moss direct down the line to Padraig Ammond, who's pulled out wide again in between 2 blue shirts. Moss taking a while to assess what he has in terms of options. Ammon missed the header, but Kellerman, I shouldn't say keeps it in play, but can't do so. As we approach half-time, about to see the board. It is an additional 3 minutes to the first half. Darren Sale probably can't wait to half-time to speak to his players, of which he did speak to them quite animatedly on Saturday. Chesterfield have now taken the lead against Rochdale, 2-1 over Odesina, but Taylor is there at the shouts of time, but was being chased by Adarkwa, who's proved himself a threat. Barrett with the throw. Has experience with Fulham and West Ham of the Premier League. Turned 24 a couple of days ago, Mason Barrett. He's the only player out there currently on a yellow card. Odesina. Sliced effort out of the stadium. I think I'll make that the 4th new ball already, because it's not too difficult to lose the ball at a stadium with stands this low.
And the game's really lost a bit of its zip this last 2 or 3 minutes, so whether it's just waiting for half time, but
yeah, I think so.
Both teams making errors, and particularly their Woking. It looks like a long throw coming in.
Flicked on, but Moss was there to save Woking at the back post. Played in onto Charles. Faden gets it back 30 yards out. Had a little eye for goal, but fed it on to Abdul Malik. Bradshaw just outmuscled him, but Wealdstone have picked it up again. Charles onto Bowen. Ashley Charles, his 4th season at Wealdstone. Moss was just caught there by Abdul Malik. So final chance for Woking to find an equaliser before the break.
It's going to be
a few seconds of the half.
Launching it long. We've got Bradshaw, we've got Cuthbert.
Just wonder how close to the goalkeeper this is going to be. He's pulled it out left a little bit. Casey. Kellerman in support. Here he is, Woking's number 17. That's a long ball, and surely meat and drink for the Stones goalkeeper Jed Ward, who's had a couple of saves to make. You'd probably say he's been the busier of the 2 goalkeepers. But it's the home team that are in front. Odasina safely back to Yaskalan, and the referee has checked his watch. Puts whistle to mouth and calls the half-time whistle. Well, Woking have huffed and they puffed, but they yet to blow the house down of Wealdstone, who took the lead after 15 minutes, courtesy of Sam Bowen's 2nd goal of the season. They could have easily have been 2 up a few moments later, but Woking have hit back with a couple of chances. Jim Kellerman's left-footed effort from range, well saved by Jed Ward, and the first chance in the very young Woking career of Alfie Pavey, a very strong header just wide of the mark, but that's all Woking can rely on at the minute, Ian, as at the break they do trail, and you'd like to be a fly on the wall in the dressing room at half-time, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, and you never know what tactic managers take, whether they, whether it's a sort of encouraging mode, a reorganising mode, or a rant mode. You just don't know, being 1-0 down. But it's, it was a huff and a puff. It was a huff and a puff for Woking that half, and no real breakthrough yet. We'll see what the second half will bring.
We'll head to the BBC Radio Surrey studio very shortly for our final update at the half. You can check the half-time scores in the National League on the BBC Sport app and website. Aldershot also in action this evening, and they lead Southend by a 1-0. Woking, as it stands, dropping to 10th. Aldershot would jump them. So we'll head to the BBC Surrey studio for our final update in just a few moments, but for our online listeners on the app and website, we'll see you for the second half very shortly indeed. At the break, Wealdstone 1, Woking 0. Well, they'll have to do it the hard way, Connor, because they're behind again, this time to Wealdstone. We're here at Grosvenor Vale. It's Wealdstone 1, Woking 0. Sam Bowen's goal after a quarter of an hour splits the 2 teams at the minute. You'd have to say probably Jed Ward, the busier of the 2 goalkeepers. 2 good chances for Woking to respond before the break. The first real chance for their new signing, Alfie Pavey, with a strong bullet-like header just going wide of Jed Ward's goal post. He was called into action with a fine save up against Jim Kellerman, left-footed strike from about about 25 yards out, had to push that around the post. That was definitely on target. It's just more of the same really, Connor, for Woking at the minute. They're huffing and puffing, but there's no real end product at the minute. Even with 2 strikers on the pitch, there are a lot of long, searching, ambitious balls that are not finding their intended targets, and they're beginning to get a little bit frustrated, as are the travelling fans behind the goal to my right. So you'd like to be a fly on the wall in the Woking dressing room at the moment to see what instructions birthday boy Ian Dyer and indeed manager Darren Searle are distributing at the moment. They've got it all to do in the second half. They are a second half team, it must be said. 11 of their 15 goals this season have come in the second 45, but they need to find a couple if they're going to take 3 points here tonight. It's Wealdstone 1, Woking 0 at the break. You'll be pleased to know I had one before kick-off, Connor. I came prepared this evening. Normally the 15 minutes at half-time goes very, very quickly, and yeah, I've come prepared this evening. So burger before kick-off, and I'll just be sort of, you know, taking everything in at half-time.
Been chucked in. Nope.
Yeah, it's too defensive. Like when it's score the first goal, you have to try and create something.
Yeah.
We just don't.
It's very unbalanced.
Well, both teams back out for the second half here. It doesn't appear to be any changes. Just waiting to confirm that for you. But it looks as though, to me, all 11 who started for Woking and all 11 who started for Wealdstone are still on the pitch. Woking will get the second half underway. They'll continue with Jaskalainen in goal. Back three of Cuthbert, Taylor and Odesina. Casey and Moss, the two wide men. Kellerman, Akinola and Bradshaw are in the middle of the park. Pavey and Ammond up top. It's a long ball from Jaskalainen, and Alfie Pavey gets his first touch of the second half. It's just too short for Moss. Bowen, delivered clear by Mundell Smith, who also forms part of a back three for Wealdstone, alongside Jack Cook and Mason Barrett. Carl Smith and Charles Claydon, the wide men for the home team. Ashley Charles, Sam Bowen and Abdul Malik in midfield. Sean Adarkwa through the centre with support from Micah Obiero. Need to step it up a gear here, Ian, don't they, the visiting team?
They do. Woking started so strongly with the press, and then it just seemed to, they seemed to lose heart with it, really. And we're left chasing it, but Casey doing well there right in front of us to get the ball back.
He's done really well. Finding Taylor. Searching ball to Kellerman. Bowen, surrounded by Ammond and Kellerman. Ammond's done well to locate Bradshaw, and it's the away team who have started the second half much the brighter, and that's just the response and reaction Darren Sarr, the manager, would have wanted. Casey and Taylor playing a bit of keep ball on this near touchline. Fizz from left to right from Greg Taylor, looking for Moss, and just got the header wrong. Back to Jed Ward in the Wealdstone goal.
Good pressure though from Woking, and on the front foot this first minute or two. Looking at half time, I mean, really we were saying, you know, Woking's team is a back five, and then in midfield is really most of the defenders. I mean, some of that's down to injuries, and Bradshaw and Akinola both naturally defenders.
Ammond, who's onside here, it's going to be beaten to it by Ward. Almost playing as a sweeper keeper at the moment. But you're right, Akinola, known as a central defender. Bradshaw, a very defensive-minded midfielder. And Kellerman, who doesn't really have a fixed position. He sort of ends up everywhere.
He'll run wherever he's asked to run, and he's...
This was a free role, really, for Jim Kellerman at times.
Tonight it has been, yeah. He's been the most forward midfield. I mean, normally that role would go to someone like a Robinson or...
Casey. Akinola up in the air. Bounces off the advertising hoardings just in front of us. Working with Alexis Andre Jr. on the bench. New signing Tom Dixon-Peters. Also Matt Robinson and Robbie Wilmot. Barrett with the throw. Ammond losing out to Abdul Malik. Jack Cook now bursting forward down the centre of the pitch. Jack Cook going by himself, almost found a dark one, but he's out of position now. Jack Cook, Casey to Bradshaw, Kellerman, tidy footwork from Woking until Greg Taylor is caught in possession by Jack Cook. Abdul Malik now coming forward at the other end. Wealdstone playing from left to right as we look, feeds it onto Obiero. Taylor comes across, and Greg Taylor will rifle a clearance down the side of the pitch. Kellerman nods it on, looking for Pavey, who was caught off guard. Now back to Bowen. Obiero would have been offside. Lets it run for a Woking throw.
Well, firstly, he had a bit of sloppy play there by Greg Taylor, giving the ball away, but then he was responsible for recovering it, doing really well to recover it and clear it. So the good and the bad there from the Woking defender.
Barrett. Back to Cook. Actually, he ushered all the way back to his own goalkeeper, Jed Ward. Jack Cook who scored 9 goals in 73 appearances for Woking across 3 seasons. It's his 3rd season here at Wealdstone, and he's just the 1 goal short of the same total he amassed with the Cards. He turned 30 just over a week ago. Jack Cook, had a great football career, hasn't he, with Hampton and Woking, and now with Wealdstone.
Yes, and he could never take the leap to full time because he had a very good other career, very good job. So he's been brilliant. He was brilliant at Woking, and he's if anything, he's stepped up a gear here at Wealdstone, becoming club captain and Mr. Reliable. I'm sure he's a fan's favourite.
Cuthbert wrestling with a Darkwa back to Jaskalainen. Darkwa sort of gave up the chase as Barrett has beaten Ammon to it. Barrett telling Bowen to get out of the way, and he's found a really good ball up to the Wealdstone left to find Claydon. Claydon now supported by Abdul Malik, I should say. Abdul Malik now cutting infield. Great strike, but straight into the palms of Will Jaskalainen. Plenty of pace and power about the shot, but it was too straight and narrow.
Terrific shot, but as you say, straight at Jaskalainen, who's able to stomach it cleanly and then put the long ball away.
Great flick on. Now to Kellerman, has Ammond and Casey in the box, looking for Moss. First time ball whipped towards the back post. Casey's arriving, headed back across the face of goal. Ammond is there, falls to Bradshaw on the edge of the D. Short pass to Kellerman, who wasn't really expecting it. And Obiero can bring it clear. Abdul Malik back to Barrett through the centre of the pitch, but missed by Bowen. It's come a little bit stretched the game in the last few moments. Woking clearly going for that equaliser, but they are leaving space at the other end. Clearance is made by Cook. Bradshaw. Charles looking for a dart. Well, it's really good control, but he's got little or no support. Abdul Malik, the only player within a 10-metre radius of him, and a quick 360-degree turn, has found Claydon, who's gone past 2 yellow shirts. Finds Obiero. Smith on the overlap. Smith cross towards the back post of Darkwa, always stretching. Great build-up play from the home team, and they don't get their reward.
It was really good build-up play, but Smith's cross was overhit. Really, it was hit with too much power and very, you'd be asking a lot of any attacker to make anything of that ball in. But good build-up from Wealdstone.
Jaskalainen's clearance. Another good header from Moss, finding Alfie Pavey over on the Woking right. Need to bring him into the game just a little bit more often. Bradshaw, who's seen plenty of the ball this evening. Kellerman. It's in between Casey and Taylor. It's with Woking's number 5 now. It's a long searching ball. And I say long, there's nothing searchy about it. It was far too strong for Ammond or Kellerman, or indeed Pavey, who's arriving at the back post.
Yeah, and Greg Taylor shakes his head, raises an apologetic hand to Josh Casey, and takes his position on the left of this back 3.
Clearance by Ward. Cuthbert allows Odesina to bring it under his spell. Safely back to Jaskalainen. Pavey underneath this, wins the header, but wasn't the connection he wanted. Shouts of time for Bowen, but he completely messed up the pass. Akinola has it back for Woking. Dan Moss didn't beat the first man, falls to Bradshaw, 35 yards out. Casey, flag stays down. Josh Casey in a very unnatural position. Finds Taylor, asking for a yellow shirt to come short. Finds Kellerman in a bit of space. Challenged by Barrett. Back to Bradshaw. Direct, looking for Ammon, cut out by Cook this time, and delivered clear. Looking for a Darkwa, Odesina. Nice turn, and has done that very smartly. Taylor lofting it, looking for Ammon, who I think was coming back from an offside position, and again a bit of miscommunication between the two. But this is better from Woking. They are growing into the game, but as a result, they are leaving 1 or 2 gaps at the back. Ian.
Yes, they are, and if oh, sorry, just stopping there with that ball going back. Just watching. See, yeah, they are. They're pressing forward. It's but because they're getting more of the ball, it's meaning Wealdstone can't quite put the same pressure on them at the moment. But it only takes one to get the breakaway. But Woking need to do this to have a chance of getting back on level terms.
They are playing nice football. Alfie Pavey onto Moss. They're certainly winning the possession stats, but that's not the one that matters. Touch from Kellerman. Last touch of Bowen. Woking throw.
Yep, an attacking throw here from Woking. Dan Moss. Oh, substitution coming.
I think Stuart Maynard has sensed that Woking are starting to take a bit of a hold on this game. So they are going to make a change. And it's Abdul Malik who is being replaced. It's a decent game so far, Ian.
Yeah, very eye-catching game, eye-catching player.
And coming on for Wealdstone is Olafella Olamola. Direct change. Olamola, who played under Darren Sala at Yeovil a few seasons back now. We can want the corner, and they'll get it. Courtesy of the linesman's flag. So Olamola on, Abdul Malik off.
A lot of pressure now coming in from Woking. The Woking fans beginning to make themselves heard. Haven't really made it count as yet, but certainly possession and pressure is looking a lot stronger. 10
minutes into the second half. Excellent ball from Casey looking for Pavey. That was a better ball in, much more central. Kellerman all on his own. The best he can get here is a corner, and indeed that's what he's won his team.
Yeah, good work there by Jim Kellerman, and he was quite isolated, 2 players on him, but to win the corner was great work.
Josh Casey with the corner on this near touchline. Woking playing from right to left as we look. Header straight at the keeper. Parried away. Kellerman on to Pavey. Pavey, low drive, saved by the keeper again. Got a lot of power on the shot, but pushed away by Ward. 2 decent saves in the space of a minute. Woking are beginning to become alive. Yeah. But they're still behind.
Yeah, and that was a great shot as well by Pavey. It was on target, but well saved. And as you say, 2 efforts there from Woking in quick succession, and best chances of the game for the Cards.
I think it was Akinola with the header and Pavey with the strike after. It had pace, it had power, but it wasn't enough to get beyond Ward, who's been busy in the Wealdstone goal, and Woking are beginning to attack Wealdstone's lead here.
It shows as well that Alfie Pavey has an eye for goal.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's not just a header either. That was a powerful shot.
Every outfield player in the Wealdstone half. Approaching the hour mark. Casey. Another decent ball in Cuthbert underneath this one. Who will it fall to? It's Bradshaw. He sort of let the ball bounce over his head. Bradshaw's there again. Akinola throws a leg at it. You can hear the home jeers as he got that one completely wrong and out of the stadium. But it's better from the visitors. They look the team more likely to score the second goal in this game. And you feel that they need to make this pressure count, Ian.
They really do. And again, we're coming back to now taking chances. And, you know, Akinola's header was great. Pavey's shot was great. There was, I think it was Akinola again had a chance, and he didn't really do that well with it. Couldn't really get a purchase on it, so it went over for a goal kick. But with all this pressure, if chances fall, got to start taking them.
Been the running theme, hasn't it? Bradshaw. Pavey, who looks a threat now. He's up for this. Alfie Pavey pushing Charles out the way. He wants more.
He looks hungry now, doesn't he?
He does,
really
doesn't he?
Got that ball, was ready to growing into it, ready to turn. Strong on the ball and won the free kick.
Casey's free kick. Darren Sala and Ian Dyer standing side by side in the Woking dugout. Casey. Cleared by Cook. Kellerman just delivers it up in the air. Keeper's not going to come out and claim this. Header was from Ammond. And Claydon can bring it away for the home team. Biero to Olamola for his first touch, back to Mundell Smith. A Dartmoor chase. It's Kellerman back for Woking. He really is everywhere at the minute. Taylor safely back to Jaskalainen.
Oh, that was good.
Moss's header, looking for Pavey. Claydon has played that back to his own corner flag. Cleared away by Mundell Smith, straight to Kellerman. Beautiful touch. Moss. Akinola. Kellerman back to Akinola. Return ball to Kellerman, just losing out and smashed away by a Wealdstone defender. A Darkwell will chase gamely and gallantly, but won't get there. Nice cushion pass from Taylor. Asking for someone to come short. Bradshaw. Nice footwork as well. Finding Cuthbert. On to Dan Moss. Clips the ball towards the back post, straight towards the goalkeeper. Wasn't a good ball that time.
No, but again, good build-up from Woking. Defending comfortably there and coming away with the ball. Greg Taylor, good ball to Bradshaw's feet. He was able to turn. But again, no threat. The balls from far out are really being pretty well easily handled by Ward. Once they get around the area and begin to play around a bit and then put the balls in, it's a lot more challenging.
They're on top at the minute, but they still trail. 60 minutes on the clock, third of the game to play. What do Darren Sar's team have in them? This is the 10th meeting between these two. Woking with 4 victories, Wealdstone with 3. A couple of draws in there. Woking unbeaten in their last 4 against Wealdstone. Both fixtures last season finished 1-1. Might take 1-1 at the minute. Of course, Max Kretschmar not involved today with a penalty in both games. The last Woking win here actually saw Max Kretschmar on the score sheet twice for Woking. Wealdstone's only victory was the first of their 10 meetings now, way back in 2018. Flag's gone up.
Good work there by Hammond. Playing in Dan Moss, couldn't quite get it, just slightly overhit, and otherwise it would have been a very dangerous ball in. But again, at the moment it's all Woking pressure.
Fired clear from Ward. Lovely touch from a Darkwell to find Olamola. Now on to Claydon. It's a bit short for Bowen, but he got there first. Again, nice football from Stuart Maynard's team. Bowen finds it again, but good defensive challenge from Odesina. Casey in the centre of the pitch, locating Bradshaw. Toe pokes it on to Kellerman on the Woking right. Moss back to Bradshaw, letting the ball roll across his body. Sort of pulled back by Olamola. Play goes on. Kellerman in a bit of space now. Turns back onto his right foot. Right-footed cross. Charles can bring it clear, but Kellerman takes it back. It's all Woking pressure at the minute, but they can't make it pay. Bradshaw. Dan Moss. Back to Bradshaw. Woking's number 20. Kellerman. Nice footwork to locate Taylor. Again asking a yellow shirt to come close. He doesn't want to go long, so he's going to go all the way back to Jaskalainen. Again, that long crossfield ball searched for either Moss or Hammond. Hammond brought it under control, but he's just lost out and pulled back. Olamola. Free kick Wealdstone.
Yeah.
Second change about to be made as well. Corey Andrews is coming on, and he will replace Shauna Darkwa, who's been an isolated figure in this second half. Felt for him really. Sort of been 1v3 at times. But Stuart Maynard making his second change, and we're only on 63 minutes. Corey Andrews, of course, formerly of Aldershot back in the 2021-2022 season.
And I think I can see at least one Woking, if not 2 Woking substitutions.
Yeah.
Can't quite see who it is yet. Possibly Robbie Wilmot one.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ian, but again, it's so far away from us. We are just guessing. Barrett. Mason Barrett. Back to Charles. To Cook. He's got the ball dead at the moment. Charles Safely back to Ward. Wealdstone happy to keep possession for the moment. Just take the sting out of the Woking pressure. Cuthbert chasing. It was just pushed to the ground by Corey Andrews. So free kick to Woking, which Jääskeläinen will take.
Is that Wilmot, I think?
Yes, Connor, thank you very much indeed. 64 minutes on the clock, still Woking trail by a goal to nil. They're readying the first of their changes of the night. Alfie Pavey has looked hungry for a goal in the second half. He had an excellent opportunity lashed towards Jed Ward, who managed to save it. That came after a few seconds after a Tunji Akinola header, which again was well saved. Woking with their two best chances in the space of a minute. They have been threatening the Wealdstone goal, but yet to breach this back line, which currently, as of 65 minutes, is standing firm. It's still the home team that lead by a goal to nil, but all the pressure coming from the visitors, Connor. Olamola over on the far side. Woking ready a double change. Olamola looking to get beyond Cuthbert, has beaten in for pace, but Cuthbert's done really well and shown his experience to good accord. Moss direct to Kellerman, turns back, checks back to Akinola. Casey making ground on this near touchline, but Woking operate down the right. Nice 1-2 between Moss and Kellerman, but Moss just runs out of steam and Obiero picks it up in the middle of the pitch. On to Olamola. Obiero in support, so to Andrews. Charles now lets the ball roll across his body. On to Smith. Smith, Charles there in support again. Smith comes back infield to Barrett. Nice 1-2 with Bowen. Here's the Welshman again. Locating Mundell Smith in a bit of space. Losing out though, and was a big strong challenge on Dan Moss, who's still down. Obiero couldn't reach it. Dan Moss rather is still down. It's a crunching challenge, wasn't it?
It was, and I don't think I think they both stretched for the ball, and I think Moss obviously came off the worst. He's staying down there, and Dan Moss doesn't go down easily.
No, he doesn't. You're absolutely right. Woking already in their double change, might want a rethink with this break in play. Let's run through some other scores. AFC Fylde 1, Boreham Wood 1. Aldershot still leads Southend by a goal to nil. Bromley still ahead on Eastleigh by a goal to nil. What form Bromley are in of late. Ebbsfleet 0, Dorking 1. It still remains goalless between FC Halifax and Dagenham and Redbridge. Scott Cuthbert is the first man to be withdrawn, replaced by Robbie Wilmot. Since Tunji Akinola might return to defence, might be a change of formation completely. And Jim Kellerman's night is also over. He is replaced by number 12, Matt Robinson. So we'll see if it's a change in formation as well, Ian.
I suspect it will go to a back four. That would be my guess, with Cuthbert coming off.
Elsewhere, still Hartlepool 0, Solihull Moors 2. Kidderminster have pulled a goal back against Oldham, 1-1 there. Goalless between Maidenhead and Altrincham. Oxford City 0, Gateshead 2. York City 1, Barnet 3. And Rochdale 1, Chesterfield 2, although that's just kicked off in the second half.
Chesterfield and Barnet really are getting the results, aren't they?
They are, when it matters. Wilmot with his first touch, galloping forward on the Woking right, chipping it towards the back post. Pavey, crucial flick there from Barrett. Pavey surely would have scored from just 6 yards out. Crucial touch from Wealdstone's number 6. Otherwise, surely, Ian, that would have been 1-1.
Yeah, well won in midfield there by Wilmot. Flighted ball over. Pavey was rising, and Barrett just got the interception in time. Otherwise, it would have been a great chance for Woking. In the end, it's a corner.
Wilmot takes, delivered towards the back post. Up rises Pavey again. Matt Robinson will pick up the loose ball, chased by Corey Andrews. Robinson all on his own, completely isolated. Goes straight back to Dan Moss, who is to his feet and okay, although he flies into another challenge. That's beyond everybody. Ammon will chase this ball but Bowen will happily see it out for a Wealdstone throw. 20 minutes to play. The home team lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, Moss overhit it there really, and he was, in the end, he had to stretch to get the ball over and didn't have time to set himself, which meant it was poorly delivered. But Woking keep plugging away, and they've been a lot more pressure and possession in this half.
Taylor and Bradshaw sandwiching Andrews, who has won the free kick just a few yards away from us. Wealdstone have only beaten one team above them in the league, and that was Ebbsfleet on this pitch, who before tonight were the team stationed directly above them. And on the flip side, Woking with 4 league wins this season, only one of them has come against a team below them, and that was Dorking. They've beaten 3 teams currently in the playoff positions. So it seems to be the so-called lesser teams that they continue to struggle against. Wealdstone, old foes of course from previous years. Beaten Woking on this pitch before in a different league. Volleyed forward from Bowen, straight back to Jaskalainen. Top rises Pavey, then Ammond. Robinson will chase, and Robinson will pick up the ball. Wilmot.
Good searching ball there from Wilmot on the ground, split the defence, but slightly overhit, and Ammond couldn't get to the end of it, and he was tracked by 2 Wealdstone defenders.
What a Cena's header. Robinson this time. Ammond was coming back from an offside position, so waits for Cook to touch it. Mundell Smith. Andrews on the charge. Jaskalainen is there. And Jaskalainen remains in his 18-yard area. Up into the night sky it goes. Pavey loses out to Cook. Barrett feeds it on to Smith. It's a good game at right wing back. Both he and Casey have been up and down that wing like yo-yos, as Bowen forgets the ball but returns and finds Charles. Clayden's done really well to evade the challenge of Wilmot. Clayden with options left and right. Carl Smith with plenty of room. Cross comes in. Andrews is there. And eventually cleared away by Bradshaw. It's a wonderful ball to Wilmot, who's playing
Bradshaw
as a right winger at the minute for Woking. Robinson, Pavey and Ammond are all in support. Robinson will drop short. Wilmot loses out. Darren Sower writing notes on the touchline. Is he readying a third change? We shall see. We've got the other possible debutant on the bench, of course. It's his only option, and you might need him. Andrews offside, saved by Jaskalainen anyway.
Certainly opened up at the other end now with Woking pressing, and Wealdstone are looking to turn the screw whenever they get the chance, and on the break, and a couple of quick breaks there. Neither of them have come to anything, but it shows that Woking are vulnerable. With all this pressing forward, they are vulnerable, but they have to keep pressing forward.
Another heavy ball from Jaskalainen. Mundell Smith. I believe Dixon Peters has been called back by Darren Sile. You would have thought Ammond would be the potential player to be withdrawn. He's run his heart out again. He's having to do so every 3 days at the minute. Lovely ball from Smith to find Obiero. Shadowed by Bradshaw. Over the head of Taylor, and Andrews is onto this. Andrews is through on goal. Corey Andrews to wrap the game up. Saved by Jaskalainen. Woking were waiting for a flag that never came, and Andrews couldn't beat Jaskalainen, who stood strong and firm and keeps the scoreline at 1-0.
Yeah, ball floated over Taylor there to Odesina and Andrews, and Odesina got slightly the wrong side of Andrews, who was through on goal. Well saved by Jaskalainen. And we do have the substitution. Is this the new youngster?
It is. Tom Dixon-Peters replaces Alfie Pavey. 74 minutes. He's had a couple of very good opportunities to open his Woking account, but certainly another night for him.
No, he's had his moments, and as I say, I think it's not even sure that he's met the team before tonight, so he's done very well.
More to come from the new signing from Farnborough, and we have a Norwich loanee on in the shape of Tom Dixon-Peters, 21-year-old. Flicked on straight to Jaskalainen. Dixon-Peters, who only turned 21 last week, is a striker who has experience at Gillingham and Grimsby as well, and here's his first touch. But I guess it won't go down as a touch with the offside flag being raised by the linesman. Time running out for Woking. They've been the better team in the second half, but again, they've got nothing to show for it, Ian.
No, Josh Casey, the captain there, gesturing to his players, come on, pick ourselves up. 15 minutes to go.
Clearance by Ward. Beyond Andrews and Obiero. And good defending once again from Odesina. You can see why they don't concede many goals. Just the 4 on the road this season. There's been some excellent defending from Odesina and also Cuthbert tonight. At the other end, they still just continue to struggle to find the back of the net.
Yeah. I mean, it's always hard as well when you're chasing. You're 1-0 down, so the opposition defend deep, looking to sort of keep you quiet. And so far, Wealdstone have done that very well.
Taylor opts to go long, looking for Dixon-Peters. Flag never came up. Woking throw, played quickly, straight to Bradshaw. Turn ball to Taylor. Infield to Bradshaw. Taylor again. Casey. Infield ball is on to Robinson. Casey gets it back. Now on to Dixon-Peters, but he was always stretching, as was Corey Andrews. That great chance to wrap up the game a few moments ago. Not taken. Does give a lifeline to Woking. They're still in this. Cook. Straight to Odesina. Robinson runs out of room, but he does find Ammond. Ammond looking for Casey, who's arriving at the back post. Flag comes up for offside.
In case you're not happy with that decision, I don't think. Was convinced he was onside. No doubt we'll have to look at the highlights to see who was right on that one.
77 minutes on the clock. Had too many stoppages in the second half, so possibly around 15-16 minutes for Woking to get something out of this game. Otherwise, it will be on to back-to-back defeats in the space of 3 days. Nice play from Olamola. Charles just let it run to Smith.
And again, great work by Casey coming back there to cut out the danger.
This has been the ball of the night, hasn't it? Jaskalainen to Ammond. Robinson. It's a really good play from Barrett, and even better play by Bowen. Although Olamola surrounded by yellow shirts. Gives up possession to Wilmot. Dixon-Peters just needs to be a little bit sharper. 1 or 2 times he's been caught off guard already. Trying to adjust to the fast nature of this game. Bradshaw. Taylor is screaming for it inside the centre circle, and here he is. Greg Taylor again asking for a yellow shirt to come short. Doesn't want to go long. Bradshaw is there. Bradshaw. Too strong for Casey.
Yeah. Woking probing, Woking pressing, trying to find that gap. They've had 2 or 3 chances in this half, and been a mixture of well, Wealdstone good defence really, just snuffing out those chances as they've arisen.
Moss's header to Robinson. Haven't really had a chance on goal in the last 10 minutes. Smith. Good play. Andrews back to Barrett. Ward snaps it clear. Andrews gave up the chase. Sort of playing Olamola to the left, Obiero to the right, and Andrews through the middle at the minute. But they continue with that three at the back. They want a flag, Wealdstone. They're not going to get it. Woking throw. Haven't really looked like the team that started the second half in the last quarter of an hour. Robinson gave off the impression that they would be the next team to score if there was a goal. But that pressure and that pushing for the equaliser has certainly dried up. But they need to find another gear, as they are going to make another change. Wealdstone, that is, working with all three subs on. Casey. Back to Taylor. Robinson now trying to cut through the Wealdstone defence. Doesn't get any joy. Claydon coming forward here with Olamola down the Wealdstone left. Smith galloping into the box, so too Andrews. Olamola now getting the wrong side of Odesina. Taylor sticks out a leg and picked up by Wilmot, who begins to march forward. So Hammond is surely pulled down by Mundell Smith.
Yeah.
The reason for him to go down.
As Woking attack, Wealdstone are defending in depth now, and whether it's passing or trying to run through, as Matt Robinson does, it's in a sense it's running into a little bit of a brick wall, and but it's just looking for that one opportunity.
From range, Olamola. Straight to Jaskalainen. The first shot on target for some time. The last effort, of course, to Andrews about 15 minutes ago. Woking will take a shot on target right now. Hammond tussling again with Wealdstone defenders. Jack Cook, who's been excellent tonight, looking to hold on to that clean sheet.
Yeah, Jack Cook is such a good defender. Just solid. Does the simple things.
Basics,
nothing
yeah.
flash.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Occasionally he'll get a nosebleed and run forward and go on one of his little rangy runs, but most of the time he just does the basics well.
Jaskalainen going from left to right again. Hammond, decent header this time, looking for Wilmot, who's not the tallest. Moss. Akinola, again searching for the run of Hammond. Mundell Smith. Moss pushing Olamola to the ground seemingly. Third and final change can take place for Wealdstone. Ashley Charles' evening is over. He's in the walls in the first half. He'll be replaced by an international teammate of Rowan Inces in Alex Dyer.
Speaking of Dyer, before we finish, we must wish happy birthday to Ian Dyer. 40th
Yes.
birthday today to Ian Dyer, the Woking coach. If Woking don't get anything out of this game, I doubt if he'll see as much compensation, really.
No.
I think the result is everything. But happy birthday to Ian. He's been a great servant of Woking over the last few years.
5.5 years he's been with the club now. Of course, under Alan Dowson as assistant. He had a short spell in charge of the club during that changeover period of March 18 months ago. And now is the number 2 to Darren Saul, and the two that had never worked together previously before formed some partnership last year, but they're probably picking each other's brains at the moment. we're going to see a yellow card to Carl Smith for time wasting. You could probably hear Josh Casey in the background asking how many times, because they are just trying to kill this game off, the home team, and who can blame them?
No, every team does the same. I think it's, you know, I was going to say they do it within the rules, but obviously they didn't there because Carl Smith got booked. But yeah, just pushing it as far as possible.
I guess that's just an extra minute that will be added on to Wokin's cause. Missed by Olamola. Back to Taylor, reaching for it. Dixon Peters hasn't really managed to make any imprint on the game as of yet. Famous last words, but I won't mind cursing that. Bradshaw, strong, elegant as well.
Bradshaw there.
Plays the throw quickly to Robinson. Robinson, really good ball to Bradshaw, who gets it back. Bradshaw working it back to Dixon Peters. Mundell Smith will let it roll towards. And it just won't happen for Woking. Even with 5 minutes to go, you get the sense that Wealdstone should hold on to this. Because it's not as though they're giving everything Woking in the final third at the minute. They're struggling to even get there.
No, that was good. That was good interplay there between the players. But then the final ball in again was well shepherded out really by Wealdstone, and they're, as we were saying, they're defending deep and with good shape. 2 banks of 4, which is always the hard one to break down.
Woking just need to go for this now. What use is a 1-0 defeat. Attendance tonight is 1,310, 1,310. Certainly with a handful of Woking fans away to our right, making the short 20-mile trip to Ruislip. And that's gone from goalkeeper to goalkeeper. Too easy for Jed Ward.
Yeah, he commanded his area very well there. And really, he came out almost the 18-yard line to catch it, but he was decisive, he took it well. He looks a good keeper on tonight's evidence.
And again, goalkeeper to goalkeeper. Woking with all the possession. No end product. Dan Moss cut out by Bowen. His goal seems a long time ago now. Olamola losing out to Akinola. It's not the worst ball in the world to Dixon Peters. Ward has to come out and slice a clearance away. Again, acting as that sweeper keeper. Darren Sarle's just got to give the all clear now for his team just to simply go for it. As Casey now sprinting forward. Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson to try and do what he could really, but he had three Wealdstone players around him.
Olamola. Robinson. Yeah, the disappointing aspect is, aside from the goal, it sounds an obvious thing to say, defensively they've looked okay, Woking. They've only really been unlocked on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, that is always frustrating. It's just that, but once you go one down, it's just so hard to get it back in this league.
Casey, committed header. Flag's gone up against Bradshaw. Closing stages of the game. And as I say, Ian, I even get the feel now that I think Wealdstone are probably over the line. It just doesn't really have that feel that Woking are going to get something out of this, and it's felt like that for a little while.
No, I think the first 20 minutes of the half, Woking were looking strong, probing, chances. Pavy's header, we had Akinola's header, Pavy's shot, Akinola's header, and a few other half chances. And but it's really Wealdstone have defended very stoutly, really. But there's probably still 10 minutes to go.
Do you think so?
We'll see how many added minutes there are.
I'm going to say 5 additional minutes. Dixon Peters couldn't get round Cook. He was caught by Bradshaw, who thought he played the ball. I think there'll be 5. What do you think?
No, I'm going for 7 or 8.
7 or 8?
We'll see.
We certainly will.
I just think of a number and double it nowadays in football.
It's not the worst theory in the world, to be fair. What we've had 6 substitutions. Couple of short injury breaks, but nothing too long. Lovely control from Smith. It's Casey with his back to his own goal. Surely bounces off the hand of Smith there, and the linesman has spotted that.
Good defence by Josh Casey. One of the things I think Josh Casey has really worked on is that, you know, one-on-one contact, those contests one-on-one, and he very rarely gets beaten down in that corner. And he's also, as we were saying, he often would be fouled or would draw a foul, and nowadays he doesn't really seem to do that the same. He keeps going with the ball, which is, I think, a lot more positive.
Now the winning header from Cook. Moss hoofed clear by Jack Cook. Anywhere will do for Wealdstone now. Give something for Obiero or Olomola or indeed Andrews to chase, and the three linking up here again. Can't see how many additional minutes that is. I don't think the board's working properly. Can you see? I can't see how many minutes were added on. "10 minutes?
Did you think?
I couldn't see an accurate minutage to be added on. I don't think anybody around us really knows. Some of the Wealdstone fans are heading for the exits. They've seen enough. They think their team have done enough. Olomola. There's no sort of stadium announcement either, so we're playing on until the referee's whistle. Who knows how long. Dixon Peters looking for Bradshaw, who's playing through the middle at the moment. Casey. Back to Taylor. Right-footed across the face of the pitch. Dixon Peters lets it run to Bradshaw. Dixon Peters with a chance, but Cook is there again. Really good defending by the former Woking defender. Odesina brought to the ground.
Good work by Odesina though. He was quick onto the ball. Again, a glimmer of a chance there for Woking, but it couldn't really find the gap.
Yes, Connor, welcome back to Grosvenor Vale here. We're in the 91st minute of the game. We're not really too sure how many minutes have been added on because we couldn't really see the board. I don't know if it was working correctly or if it was upside down. So we're playing until the referee's whistle. Woking still trail by a goal to nil. Just stay with us here as they have a free kick in a very good position, but it's poorly dealt with by Wilmot, straight into the hands of Jed Ward. They've hardly touched the 18-yard area in the last quarter of an hour, or since you were last with us, really. Wealdstone had the best chance to find the game's second goal, but well saved by Will Yaskalainen. Woking giving their absolute all here, but there's just no end product. It's certainly the article on repeat at the moment that they've had all the ball. Defensively look pretty good. They've only really given Wealdstone a couple of chances. They've taken one of theirs. Woking haven't taken any tonight. Alfie Pavey survived 75 minutes. He's had a good couple of chances, one before the break and one after the break, but they just can't find this goal. A long searching ball from Wilmot again is straight through to the goalkeeper. Goal kick given. No idea how long's left, but we play to the whistle. Wealdstone 1, Woking 0.
A few Woking fans leaving, but not many. Still keeping behind their team and hoping for the best.
It's just not looking likely, is it?
Never say never, Mark.
Never say never, absolutely. Throw in to be taken. Flicked on by Dixon Peters. Didn't get the connection he wanted, and Odesina pulls back a Wealdstone player for a free kick. Stuart Maynard recently celebrating 130 games in charge of the club. If he can hold on, this will be his 38th victory as manager. We've got Oldham to come here on Saturday before two long trips on the road, firstly to Gateshead and then to Kidderminster, who are bringing up the bottom of the table. Woking with a trip in themselves to AFC Fylde on Saturday. Next home game is Halifax next Tuesday. I'll be back for that one before they take on struggling Southend. Trips to Dagenham and Eastleigh follow. There's the full-time whistle. It's finished here at Grosvenor Vale. Wealdstone winners by a 1-0. And it's Sam Bowen's effort on 15 minutes that splits the two teams. Connor, it's just finished. I would assume that 4 minutes were added on as we played 4 additional minutes, and the game has been brought to a close. Cheers all round for the Wealdstone fans. They are celebrating another 3 points at home. It's their home form that is really coming to the fore at the minute. They'd be bottom of the table if it was to away form, but here at Grosvenor Vale, they are a side in form, and they've beaten Woking by a 0-0. Sam Bowen's effort after 15 minutes, enough to see out the 3 points. Woking with decent chances at the start of the second half, but the game just sort of drew away from them. Wealdstone managed it well and saw it out for the 3 points. They'll be climbing up the table. Woking will be dropping off. They will remain on 16 points. Wealdstone up to 15 points, so just a point between the two. But it's another disappointing display from Woking. Defensively, they look pretty sound. In midfield, they look pretty solid. They have plenty of the ball, Connor. But in the end, again, you can copy and paste the article from Saturday. All of the ball, but no end product. It's finished here at Grosvenor Vale. Wealdstone 1, Woking 0. For our online listeners on the web and the app and website, final thoughts with you, Ian. Another defeat 3 days after the late defeat to York. The writing was on the wall early on here, and they just couldn't find that equaliser, could they? Yeah, the game started at a frenetic pace both ways, but Wealdstone kicking down the hill really made it count, got their noses in front, and once that had happened, it was all uphill for Woking, really. Yeah. Even playing downhill in the second half. The second half, much more effective showing, much more pressure, quite a few chances, but it couldn't happen. And then once those hadn't been taken, Woking kept plugging away, but you felt, there were tired limbs out there and the zip had gone, and it just couldn't make it count. So dispiriting for the players, dispiriting for the fans. Two defeats in a row is never great, and a long trip to Fylde to come to, where they'll be hoping that maybe getting on the road, getting it out of their system, getting out of the area, maybe they'll clear their heads and come back with 3 points from the northwest. 12 games played for Woking, 4 wins, 4 draws, 4 defeats. Now they only drop a place to 9th, but they are some 15 points behind the top team, Chesterfield. 31 points they're on. Woking dropped to 9th on 16 points. Wealdstone up to 13th. They're right a couple of places and are now just a point behind Woking. It really is very, very tight in the middle of the table. Of course, early days in terms of thinking about futures and outcomes towards the end of the season. But the disappointment continues for Darren Sarwar, shaking the head from John Katz on stadium exit as well, and I'm sure Woking fans listening in will be shaking their heads at home. They're back in action on Saturday with a long trip up to AFC Fylde, but here at Grosvenor Vale it has finished Wealdstone 1, Woking 0.